Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum bum. I gotta do that again. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. Wow, that's a good one from now on. So here's the scheme that I'm gonna use when I'm in a really shitty depression state. I'll call my channel the Peter Shit Show. When it's just an unpleasant state, but I'm not depressed, I'll call it a Peter Dislike Show. And when I'm in a good situation, I'll call it the Peter Like Show from now on. So right now it's a Peter Like Show, but just borderline. I'm kind of straddling the border between Peter Like Show and Peter Dislike Show. Hopefully, we'll stay in the like territory. Uh, anyway, I had a situation at work that taught me that unfortunately we live in a country where marriage and at least a good relationship is almost mandatory just to navigate life. And so to show why, let's talk about a tale of two close colleagues that I work with. One of them has recently gotten his fiance left him, and he's out of it. And he's been taking mental health days here and there, and we all have to fill in for him and cry for him. That's great. And but meanwhile, if I wanted to take a mental health day to view the Green Comet last month, or oh my God, I just got a really good idea on how to pour bismuth art, or you get the idea, right? They don't weigh similarly here in the United States. Well, unfortunately, I work with, up until last week, everybody I worked with was either in a committed relationship, some of them multiple decades, or they were out there experimenting with themselves, or they were crying over the last one and also experimenting with themselves. And not that there's anything wrong with those people, but you feel crushed under a weight of all that, right? You imagine 7 or 8 colleagues that are all like that, and you're the only one who is content with going out by yourself. You got last month we had Valentine's Day, obviously, and then we had the Super Bowl weekend. Everybody's with their significant other watching the Super Bowl. Imagine being crushed under a weight of all that, right? It's not that I hate or dislike any of these people, right? It's just that you feel crushed under the camaraderie of all this, right? And then last week, I was to interview a new employee, and while we were talking just one on one, I discovered that she had some similarities with her views on relationships. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I got to be the bigger person. I can't let that cloud my decision on whether or not I think she's a good candidate. But you know what? It's very difficult to do that, because at the same time that I'm trying to not let that cloud my decision, I realize I desperately need an ally, and she probably needs somewhere to work where she's not crushed under all of this nonsense, right? And by the way, when I say nonsense, I'm not talking about the individuals who are practicing the relationships they're involved in. I'm talking about the societal view of the relationships that they fall into. Now, one of my favorite, aside from the Peter Shit Show, one of my favorite finance channels to watch is the Dave Ramsey Show, and he often talks about relationships, and as if you have to get married. Well, first of all, he doesn't like it when people live together without being married. That one, I don't think it's that strong. I mean, you can certainly make a point that there are pitfalls to doing that in terms of finances, right? When things go south, right? But Dave Ramsey completely dislikes it when people live together without being married. And he never says it on camera, but I would imagine he would also strongly dislike. Well, he does criticize LGBTQ people. I've never heard of him talk about people who want to stay single for life or solo sexual, but I would imagine he would strongly dislike that as well. Sometimes he got a couple calling in who is gay, and he almost draws a blank stare. What am I talking to? You, your husband? I mean, he doesn't say it on camera, obviously, but the emotion is there, right? As somebody who is solo sexual, I pick up on that very easily. Now, Dave Ramsey would obviously definitely not like the idea of having a good percentage of your wealth in bismuth. Right? For me, it's a still 1 digit %. But I think he would criticize on that too, right? Just given how much he criticizes on some of the cousins of bismuth, right? But that's my love life. I love bismuth, just like some people might love a romantic partner, right? Unfortunately, last 2 years ago, we were mandating all this stuff be injected up your arm just to go to work. We've always mandated, almost right, pseudo mandated, that people be in a traditional marriage just to go to work. Or 20 years ago, it almost had to be heterosexual, right? At least we're a little bit more flexible with that now, right? But you still almost have to. It's almost mandatory to be married just to go anywhere in life, right? This is the Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum.